Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India NewsHour, India's voice to the world. I'm Mahendra Singh. Coming up in the next 1 hour, Bangladesh business community pulls up interim government for failure in handling law and order, says will be difficult to maintain the economy. US President-elect Donald Trump threatens 100% tariff on BRICS nations if they undercut the US dollar. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad vows to defeat the rebels as they sweep into Aleppo. Russia conducts airstrikes in support of President Assad. And rain-slashed Tamil Nadu, Puducherry as cyclonic storm Fangel makes landfall. Weather Office warns of continuous rainfall for the next 2 to 3 days. Shah begins his tenure as ICC President, aims to boost cricket via Los Angeles Olympics and Women's Game. The business community of Bangladesh on Saturday said that the interim government has failed to tackle the country's law and order situation. Business leaders expressed their concerns at a business conference organized by the Dhaka Chamber of Commerce and Industry. They said it will be difficult to maintain the economy if the situation does not improve. Managing Director of the Barak Bank said, though the government is trying to rebuild the institutions which were destroyed over the years, but the government has failed to handle the law and order situation. While Incepta Pharmaceuticals Chairman Abdul Muqtadir Rahman said that the law and order situation has declined sharply and the government must fix a timeline to fix the situation. Followers of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness or ISKCON worldwide organized special prayers on Sunday for the safety and security of all religious minorities in Bangladesh. ISKCON made the appeal in response to the widespread protests in Bangladesh following the arrest of Chinmoy Krishnadas in a sedition case. This comes as a spate of attacks on the Hindus and other minorities in Bangladesh in recent months, which included vandalization of temples and idols of deities. Last night, a prominent woman journalist named Munni Saha was arrested by the police from Karwan Bazar in Dhaka city of Bangladesh. She was later released on payment of a bond under Section 497 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. However, Saha will have to seek bail from a court and adhere to police summons. A prayer meeting was organized at the Gupt Balram Dham temple of Jaipur in Rajasthan to protect against the ill treatment of followers of Sanatan Dharma in Bangladesh. A San Kirtan Yatra was also organized. On this occasion, Vice President of the Gupt Balram Dham temple demanded protection, security and the right to live in peace for the Hindus living in Bangladesh.
कुछ समय से बांग्लादेश में अल्पसंख्यक हिंदुओं के साथ जो हुआ है, तो हमारी बांग्लादेश सरकार से अनुरोध है हमारे सब भक्तों को कि उनको सुरक्षा प्रदान करें व उनके परिवार वालों को भी सुरक्षा प्रदान करें, और जो हिंदू धर्म का जो अनुसरण कर रहे हैं उनको भी स्वेच्छा से अपने हिंदू धर्म का अनुसरण करने की उनको भी स्वतंत्रता व सुरक्षा प्रदान करें।
यहाँ से हम लोग ये यात्रा आज मंदिर के मुख्य द्वार से होते हुए अक्षयपात सर्किल से होते हुए इसको हम लोग हरे कृष्ण बलराम मार्ग से और हरे कृष्ण मार्ग पर यहाँ पर इसको आयोजित किया गया है। और ये निवेदन किया गया है कि बांग्लादेश में हिंदुओं की रक्षा हो, सुरक्षा हो, उनको शांति से और स्वतंत्रता से रहने का अधिकार दिया जाए, ताकि आज पूरे विश्व की जितनी भी सरकार हैं उनसे मैं निवेदन करूंगा कि, और विशेष रूप से भारत सरकार का, क्योंकि भारतीय वासी होने के नाते हम लोग कहेंगे कि हिंदुओं की रक्षा करने के लिए विशेष यहाँ पर आवेदन करें, विशेष व्यवस्थाएं करें, ताकि वो वहाँ पर शांतिपूर्वक अपने धर्म का पालन कर सके और अपना जीवन बिता सके।
And to talk more about that, I'm joined by Pinakranjan Chakrabarti. He's a former Indian High Commissioner to Bangladesh, and he retired as Secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs. Thank you, Ambassador Chakrabarti, for being on the show. How should we see the statement coming out of the business community of Bangladesh saying if the government does not put a lid on the atrocities on minorities in Bangladesh, it could directly affect the economy?
Well, they are only articulating what has been their concern for some time. These mobs that have been going around attacking various people, institutions, etc., have also attacked some factories and burnt them down, including the ready-made garment factories, which constitutes about 80% of Bangladesh's exports. Hence, they are naturally worried because and much of these mobs are led by the Islamists, and the BNP cadres are there to exploit and to extort. I know, and I have received information that the BNP cadres are going around asking the Hindu business and other leaders that if you want to stay alive, please pay me so much per month. This is what is happening. I mean, it's this complete lawlessness thing. And the joint force of the army and the police are unable to actually deal with it. Or are even, I would even say that they are cahoots with the students and these Islamist groups who are around doing all this.
Then, so Ambassador, why is... Ambassador, then the question that why is Muhammad Yunus making these kind of statements saying, please do not exaggerate small incidents? Why is he trying to play it down?
He has no choice because he has lost control, I think.
Okay.
And his policies, I mean, whatever he is, I mean, he's very well known, and one does not expect him to support these kind of violence. But I don't think he is in control. And
who is then? Who is then?
These student leaders who now are who think now that they are supermen because they managed to evict Hasina from power. Of course, one need not. One has to say that there are foreign forces which backed them, helped them, funded them to do all this. But they have joined hands with the Islamic groups and organizations.
Okay.
Who now feel that they can do whatever they like, and they have pressurized the Yunus government or the interim government to release a very, very large number of these Islamist, adherents who were all convicted and put in jail for terrorism. Now they have been released, and some of them are connected with ISIS, Al Qaeda. And this is all very well known. I mean, it's covered in the newspapers. And these guys, and they've all joined hands together to basically, commit violence against various groups, make money, and go around looting. And the government is seems incapable of stopping them.
Okay. But doesn't Khalida Zia or her party, the BNP, realize, because now with Sheikh Hasina out, the Awami League is virtually, out of the political scene, or so it seems as of now, and the BNP may come to power if and when the elections are held. But doesn't the BNP and Khalida Zia realize that these elements targeting the minorities right now are going to become a big headache for our own government? So why is the BNP then in cahoots with them?
No, BNP, I don't think it is correct to assume that they are in cahoots with them.
Okay.
As far as I know, the BNP wants an early election because they see this as a wonderful opportunity to come back to power. And I think the Yunus government is laying the groundwork for that, because the way the Awami League has been pushed out and harassed and almost decimated, which means that the Awami League, even if they fight the election, does not have much of a chance to come back to power.
Right.
So the BNP has the best chance. They will join hands with the Islamists as they did last time. And there is another news that has come out that all those who were convicted in the grenade attack on Hasina and Awami League, mainly the BNP leadership, including Tariq Rahman, who is in exile in London and who will probably hope to become the Prime Minister in the BNP government, they have now been acquitted because the judiciary has been now packed with their own people. As you know, the Supreme Court judges were all made to resign at gunpoint, and other judges were appointed who are obviously, known to this group which is governing.
Yeah. So therefore, my question, Ambassador Chakrabarti, when it is a foregone conclusion, or so it seems, or it's more likely that the BNP will sweep the polls with the Awami League virtually being out, why isn't the BNP realizing these elements will then be a threat to their government, because the situation cannot remain so. Lawlessness cannot prevail on the streets of Dhaka, Chittagong, or other cities in the country.
I think the BNP is unable to control its cadres on the ground.
Oh, okay.
And those cadres have joined hands with the Islamist groups because they feel this is their best opportunity. After 15 years, they haven't got an opportunity to make money, go around looting, intimidate people, etc., etc. And they have been intimidating and extorting money from businessmen also, and they are very unhappy. As you heard some of the business people talk about the lawlessness and the lack of law and order. So I think this is what is happening at the moment, and the interim government is unable to control them. Even after putting the army and the police as a joint force to deal with this situation, I don't think they are able to control it fully, and so these things continue to happen.
Okay. And then Ambassador Chakrabarti, Mohammed Yunus yesterday in an interview says there is no threat to the minorities in the country, but these incidents keep going on. One Hindu tourist was attacked in a knife attack. He was, stabbed, temples being vandalized. So why is Mohammed Yunus not accepting there is a problem and work towards rectifying that, whatever little control he has? After all, the country has a police, the country has a paramilitary force. Or are you saying they are just not listening to him?
I think he has been reduced to mouthing platitudes and basically dodging the situation by saying, oh, nothing is happening, it's all exaggerated. The very stray incidents, etc. But that's not the report that is coming from the ground. Right? So he, of course, is a global face, a Nobel laureate, and he thinks that he can shield all these activities by saying that it's exaggerated or it's not that bad and things like that. But I'm afraid he's trying to put a screen that is increasingly invisible.
Okay. Ambassador, my last question to you. Why aren't the Americans or the West telling their friends currently in power in Bangladesh to put a lid on it?
You know, whenever regime change operations are conducted, the policymakers of the regime change don't think of the aftermath as to what's going to happen. You can see, so many countries that have suffered under regime change. I don't have to name them; they are too well known now. And so I think Bangladesh is also falling into that category because an interim government, in any case, is unconstitutional, and it's a kind of an emergency situation. So it has been cobbled together, and different people are there with different interests and different agendas. The students have their own agenda, and they are basically calling the shots, and they are being helped by the Islamists. Okay. So they have joined hands. So what you see today is basically Bangladesh's downward slide into a situation that might end up in destroying its economy finally, and end up destroying its industries. Already prices are rocketing, and things are not. The economy is not doing too well. But how long will they expect that the IMF and the Americans, Chinese will bail them out with money, etc., which they will get to some extent. But if you can't stand on your own feet, if you can't energize your economy, then I don't think how far can you get loans, etc.
True.
From the rest of the world?
You can't survive on loans. So you're saying it's the old script: topple the government if it doesn't suit you, then leave them to their own devices.
Absolutely, yes. But they are trying. I'm sure behind the scenes they would be trying, but then they are not succeeding, in my view.
But
the narrative.
Indians should be worried because it's happening right in our neighborhood. We are on both sides of the. So what should the Indian approach be?
Well, so far we have taken a low-key approach, which is the right thing to do at the moment. And we have, as you know, not engaged very closely with this government, except for one meeting between our external affairs minister and their foreign advisor, who's like their foreign minister. There's been no other meeting at high level, and neither have any delegations come. And but they do sometimes talk about, that we are optimistic and we will have good relations with India. After all, they can't ignore India. India is too big, and the asymmetry is too large. They depend on India on many things. The trade, Bangladesh and India are the largest trading partners in the subcontinent. So there are so many things that happen between these two countries that, you can't, rhetoric and sentiment, ignoring the realities, the geopolitical and geoeconomic, both, will only lead to further distress for Bangladesh, and that is not good for us.
Okay. And so you're saying, I'm sure, publicly India is maintaining this posture that, it doesn't want to be seen as meddling into another country's affairs and using a distant approach. But I'm sure behind the scenes, there is much being talked about at the diplomatic level. But why do you think it's not working, and what needs to be fine-tuned?
Well, our High Commissioner is very active there, and he has gone around meeting everybody, including Professor Yunus and various other people, and telling them whatever we have to tell them. But why is it not working is your question. My sense is that the interim government is working at cross purposes. This is a motley group, a mixture. They don't belong to any one party. They are basically pro-BNP and pro-Islamists. There is an Islamist who is an advisor. He belongs to the Hifazatul Islam, an extreme Islamist organization one of whose leaders has recently given an interview saying that they would like to convert Bangladesh into a khilafat and apply Sharia law and impose jizya on the Hindus. Can you imagine in the 21st century this kind of a talk emanating from Islamist leader in Bangladesh?
Okay. Ambassador Pinak Chakrabarti, thank you very much for joining me on the show and sparing your time. Thank you. And still to come on DD India NewsHour, celebrations erupt outside UK Parliament after MPs vote in favour of legalised assisted dying. Georgian President refuses to step down until last month's parliamentary elections are rerun.
We are living in times where things are changing at an unforeseen pace. And at the forefront of many of these positive changes are strong individuals who are looking towards the future.
Through the stories I tell, I try and sort of reignite that intuitive sense of how close we are to nature and how much there is to learn from it.
Organic farming, it also helps you not only reduce the carbon footprint, but also help adapt because you are promoting natural farming.
Very lightweight, but it makes you feel that you don't have to eat too much. In this NFT channel, we use net cups with cocoa peats on it. This helps to penetrate the roots. There will be nutritious water flowing through the channel that supplies essential nutrients for the plant.
You're watching DD India NewsHour. I'm Amritpal Singh. Deadly sectarian clashes continue in Pakistan's northwestern Kurram district despite a tentative ceasefire struck late last week. The death toll is now over 130 as authorities try to broker a solution in Kurram near the border with Afghanistan has been a flashpoint for sectarian tensions for decades. They split over into a fresh wave of attacks last month when clashes between Sunnis and Shias left many dead. And supporters celebrated outside the United Kingdom's Parliament in London after MPs voted in favour of a new bill to legalise assisted dying on Friday. Terminally ill adults bill would provide for mentally competent terminally ill adults in England and Wales who are assessed by doctors the right to choose to end their lives with medical help. Supporters of the bill, a retired probation officer, Hilary Hare Duke, believes opponents of the decision still have a choice after the vote. Referring to supporters of the result, she said, "It's a matter of choice."
I mean, I do absolutely respect the people who were opposed to it and their heartfelt reasons for why they were opposed. But this was always about choice, and they still have choice. But now so do we. And I'm feeling very emotional. But it's a marvellous day, a marvellous day.
Violent clashes erupted outside Georgia's parliament between the police and the demonstrators protesting the government's decision to delay European Union membership talks amid a post-election crisis. Thousands of people gathered in Georgia's capital Tbilisi on Saturday for a third night of protests that saw dozens arrested. More than 100 people have been arrested in the last 2 days. And Georgian President Salome Zurabishvili said she will not step down until last month's contested parliamentary elections are rerun, claiming it is her constitutional duty to bring the country down the European integration path. The comments come as thousands of people gather in Georgia's capital for a third night of protests against the government's decision to postpone European Union membership talks until 2028.
It's my duty. I've been elected for that, to serve this country. I'm elected also to preserve the Constitution, which clearly in its Article 78 says that we have to go down the European Euro integration path, and that's what has to be preserved. That is why the people are going out on the streets.
US President-elect Donald Trump has warned the BRICS countries against replacing the US dollar, threatening them with 100% tariffs. Trump also sought a commitment from these countries to not create a new BRICS currency nor support any other currency. Trump made these remarks in his social media platform, Truth Social. Amid an intensifying conflict between the Syrian government and the rebel factions, videos from the White Helmets aid group revealed devastating aftermath of airstrikes on schools in Aleppo and Idlib on Friday. In Aleppo, a massive crater and heavily damaged buildings scarred the grounds of a boys' school. In Idlib, the debris was strewn across the area surrounding another school hit by an airstrike. On Saturday, the Syrian army reported heavy losses, stating that dozens of soldiers were killed during a major offensive, marking one of the most significant challenges to President Bashar al-Assad in years. The escalation follows Syrian rebels' unexpected advance into Aleppo on Friday after capturing several government-held towns. And the Israeli military intercepted a projectile launched from Yemen on Sunday, preventing it from entering Israeli territory. The military earlier said sirens had sounded in a number of areas in central Israel following the projectile launch from Yemen. Negotiations on a treaty to curb plastic pollution face tough debate on the last day of scheduled talks in South Korea. The fifth and the final UN Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee meeting to yield a legally binding global treaty is set to wrap up in Busan on Sunday, but a final plenary session has not been set. Countries remained far apart on Sunday morning on the basic scope of the treaty. An option proposed by Panama, backed by over 100 countries, would create a path for global plastic production reduction target, while another proposal does not include production caps.
Plastics are not convenience. Plastics are poison. Every piece that we allow to produce without limits is a direct assault on our health, on our nature, and our children. For those blocking progress, you are allowing this crisis to fester, and it will kill us. This is just not a treaty about plastics. This is humanity's line on the sand. If we don't get an ambitious treaty out of Busan, it will be a global betrayal. Plastics
have the provisions or what we expect from an ambitious treaty, then we'll come back to the multilateral process and go back to the same process pushing for an ambitious treaty. Like we've said, and like all of us in this table have said, nobody is going to leave Busan with a weak treaty. Nobody is going to accept a weak treaty.
Now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Romanians are casting ballots in a parliamentary election on Sunday, sandwiched between a two-round presidential race. Sunday's vote will elect a new government and prime minister and will determine the formation of the country's 466-seat legislature. While the president has significant decision-making powers in Romania, it is the prime minister that heads the government. In Namibia, electoral officials began counting ballots after polling stations closed following a controversially extended election in southern African country marred by chaos and allegations of foul play. Several thousands marched through the Spain's Valencia to protest against the authorities' handling of late October floods in Spain, which had claimed at least 230 lives. The demonstration in the city centre demanded resignation of Carlos Mazón, the conservative president of Valencia region. And still to come up on DD India NewsHour, India International Science Festival 2024 is being held at IIT Guwahati campus. World AIDS Day being observed with the theme Take the Right Path, My Health, My Right.
We are living in times where things are changing at an unforeseen pace. And at the forefront of many of these positive changes are strong individuals who are looking towards the future.
Through the stories I tell, I try and sort of reignite that intuitive sense of how close we are to nature and how much there is to learn from it.
Organic farming, it also helps you not only reduce the carbon footprint, but also help adapt because you are promoting natural farming.
Very lightweight, but it makes you feel that you don't have to eat too much. In this NFT channel, we use net cups with cocoa peats on it. This helps to penetrate the roots. There will be nutritious water flowing through the channel that supplies essential nutrients for the plant.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India NewsHour. I'm Amritpal Singh. Bangladesh business community pulls up interim government for the failure in handling law and order, says will be difficult to maintain the country's economy. US President-elect Donald Trump threatens 100% tariffs on BRICS nations if they undercut the US dollar. And rain slash Tamil Nadu, Puducherry as cyclonic storm Fangel makes a landfall. Weather Office warns of continuous rainfall for the next 2 to 3 days. India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar addressed the 138th birth anniversary celebrations of Raja Mahendra Pratap at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi on Sunday. The occasion also marked the 109th anniversary of establishing the first provisional government of India, a declaration of sovereignty made by Raja Mahendra Pratap in Kabul on December 1st, 1915. Addressing the gathering as a chief guest at the function in New Delhi, the Vice President underlined that Raja Mahendra Pratap was a born diplomat, a born statesman, a born visionary, a born nationalist. He said that Raja Mahendra Pratap exemplified nationalism, patriotism, far-sightedness, exhibited by conduct what can be done for the nation.
I am profoundly honored to commemorate the 138th birth anniversary of Raja Mahendra Pratap, a born diplomat, a born statesman, a visionary, a nationalist. He exemplified nationalism, patriotism, far-sightedness. He exhibited by conduct what can be done for the nation.
Southern India's Puducherry is facing critical flood-like situation due to heavy rainfall after cyclonic storm Fangel made a landfall late on Saturday night. Most areas of the city have been inundated with water, with significant water levels reaching knee-deep heights in central areas, including White Town and Nehru Street. The electricity supply has been completely disrupted and mobile communication is also severely impacted. The urban infrastructure is under immense strain, with transportation and daily activities coming to a standstill. However, the government has initiated intensive rescue operations and is actively relocating citizens to safer locations. The Indian Army launched a rescue operation early on Sunday, successfully evacuating more than 100 stranded civilians from flood-affected areas of Puducherry. The cyclone also brought heavy rains and gusty winds to various parts of Tamil Nadu, causing a severe waterlogging crisis and disrupting transportation across Chennai and nearby areas. Meanwhile, the Chennai airport resumed operations early on Sunday, which had been temporarily suspended.
Particularly the district administration requested the Indian Army, also Navy, to intervene this. And the district administration has established nearly 200 plus rescue centers for the relief works. And Chief Minister M.K. Stalin in Tamil Nadu and also Puducherry Chief Minister N. Rangaswamy on full reviewing the situation. The Deputy CM also visited the neighboring districts of Puducherry, that is Villapuram, to escalate and also break-in the fasting work of the relief and rescue works, particularly in Dindivanam, where the waterlogging is still there and people are still struggling, and the electricity has been not been given. So the electricity department has said that if we given the electricity and some kind of electrocution events can happen, in Chennai nearly 4 people are already passed away or died due to that electrocution. So they said that due to that, and also some substation, the water logging has reported, so they are not able to give fully electricity to the city and also people. And the essentials like milk and various essential products are not able to get because of supply, and also all the shops are shut in Puducherry. So we are just calculating and also continuously monitoring the situation. Still the rain is not yet stopped. Due to that, the relief and rescue work is still,
and what's the IMD saying? When will the rain stop?
The Cyclone Fangel is next 6 hours going to be weekend into a deep depression, and it going towards a Coimbatore region. So we need to wait and watch that the next 6 hours. It may reach in night of today. Maybe we can expect the rainfall maybe reduce. So
do you have any
the rainfall is
Okay. Do you have any reports from Coimbatore and other areas which could be impacted? How are they preparing for the cyclone?
The Indian Meteorological Department has said that given a red alert to the interior districts of Kallakurichi, Salem, Dharmaburi, Krishnagiri and all Coimbatore. The district administration also preparedness. As a deep depression is going towards, so we can estimate that the calamity or the nature of the cyclone will be weakened. So not that much level of disruption can calculated in those districts comparing the Puducherry and Villupuram. So that is the situation.
Anar Babson, many thanks for joining us for the moment. And a fresh spell of snowfall was received in Jammu and Kashmir's Daras and Zojila Pass as the Border Roads Organization started snow clearance operation. Traffic was temporarily suspended on Srinagar-Ladakh highway amidst the snowfall in the region. In other weather updates from across the world, the first big snowstorm of the season hits Pennsylvania, threatening to bury towns along Lakes Erie and Ontario during hectic holiday and travel and shopping weekend. An Arctic outbreak of cold air will expand south and east and bring dangerously cold wind chills into the northern plains and the upper Midwest, while heavy lake-affected snow could make travel very difficult to impossible in the next week. The National Weather Service of the United States issued a lake-effect snow warning for Erie until Tuesday. And New York and several other states in the United States also experienced heavy snowstorms under the lake effect. According to the National Weather Service, lake effect snow occurs when cold air moves across the open waters of the Great Lakes. Great Lakes are the lakes which adjoin Michigan, the US and Canada. Authorities have reported winter for parts of Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania and New York State for this weekend. Okay. Palan Dokan ski center in Erzurum in Turkey kicked off its winter season ahead of schedule following significant snowfall, with municipality offering free services to mark the opening. Situated just 20 kilometers from the airport and 4 kilometers from the eastern province of Turkey, is known for exceptional technical infrastructure, 5-star accommodations and international standard slopes. So snow brings joy somewhere, destruction somewhere, very cold winter chills elsewhere. India is celebrating its Border Security Forces Raising Day today. The force was officially formed on December 1st, 1965 in the aftermath of the year's Indo-Pakistan War. The need for a specialized force to guard India's borders became evident due to consistent threat from across the borders, and the BSF was created to fulfill this significant role. The BSF is now the world's largest border guarding force, securing the 6,386 kilometer long international border with Pakistan and Bangladesh. Watch a report dedicated to India's valiant force on this special day.
Bharat, the land of great men and women. For each generation, there is a call to serve this country. BSF Academy, a symbol of pride, valor and sacrifice. A legacy of producing some of the best soldiers who have served the country. A place where young boys and girls are molded into tough heroes. Where they discover their purpose and are made to realize that they are stronger than they think. They learn to dig deep and push through adversity, together to defend a country. But battles aren't won solely on the battlefield. Battles are won within. Over enemies of fear, over enemies of doubt. In a place where promises are kept. A promise to oneself. A promise to friends and family. A promise to 1.4 billion people. And a promise to a nation. In the heart of every soldier, you will find a promise. A promise kept forever. For that purpose, today we are celebrating BSF Raising Day. Defending our nation and its people. This is Border Security Force, duty unto death.
The India International Science Festival 2024 is on at IIT Guwahati in Assam from November 30th to December 3rd. The festival aims to steer India into a science and tech-led manufacturing hub. DD India's Amit Mukherjee caught up with the Director General of the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Dr. N. Selvi, on the sidelines of the festival. Listen in.
We are at the India International Science Festival 2024 and I have with me Dr. N. Selvi, Director General, CSIR. Ma'am, thanks for being with us. The first question I would like to ask you that there has been a lot of emphasis on youth engagement and also on innovation. So how do you see CSR leveraging this platform to achieve the goals?
Namaskar everyone. So this is Selvi from CSIR. This India International Science Festival, this is the 10th edition and CSIR has been given the greatest opportunity of convening it, celebrating it in the northeastern part of this country, which is the gateway of northeast, the place called Guwahati. And we are really excited to conduct this event for 4 days, starting from yesterday up to 3rd December. And in this particular celebration, so who will be celebrating any festival with more than enough excitement and energy is nothing but children, students, youngsters, the next generation leaders. So we have thoughtfully made number of events exclusively for students.
Right. Ma'am, Pradhan Mantri ji has been talking a lot about innovation. So how do you want to engage the youth and bring them towards innovation?
Actually, just now I was telling, for the sake of innovation, I said, just go and see what your mother is doing, how she is managing within the 4 walls of the house. She is the innovator. And I said kitchen is a place wherein a lot of innovation is happening.
Right.
Similarly, when you just take the whole country and especially the scientific labs, nowadays the government of India is pushing innovation, science and technology, I would say in an unassuming manner, because the support that is being given to startups, MSMEs, entrepreneurs, mid-scale industries is unassuming and unconditional in many cases.
Right.
Therefore, by taking science from labs like us,
right,
they can get all the other ecosystem support as well as funding support
right,
from different schemes of the government of India, and therefore now innovation is reaching its height, I would say, especially in the current scenario.
Ma'am, another thing, that this is the first time that this kind of a festival, the science festival, is happening in Northeast. So how do you see that this, what is the contribution, and how do you think a state like Northeast would benefit from this?
I love this question. Actually, when we were just scouting for place, when we were just dreaming, we thought that Northeast should be taken for a number of reasons. Number one, Guwahati we chose because this is the gateway of Northeast. Right. And we have chosen IIT because this academia is known for its excellence and capability. Right. Third one is Northeast is so far known for only 2 reasons. Its richness in culture, richness in biodiversity.
Right.
We are giving the third important vertical and the third important identity. We want to give Guwahati and Northeast a new identity, that science and technology of India and indigenous technologies.
World AIDS Day is observed on December 1st each year. This year, the theme, Take the Right's Path, My Health, My Right, highlights the importance of healthcare as a basic right. But how does HIV, the virus that causes AIDS, actually enter the body? And what happens when it does? What challenges do those living with HIV face, and can they ever truly overcome this disease? Today, we unravel the answers. How lives can be saved, improved, and protected.
The silent attacker, known as HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, spreads in ways many don't fully understand. Most commonly, it passes through unsafe sexual contact, but it can also be transmitted via infected blood, shared needles, or from mother to a child during childbirth or breastfeeding. Yet, despite widespread myths, HIV does not spread through casual contact like touching, hugging, or sharing meals. When HIV enters the body, its mission is stealthy but devastating. The virus targets the body's immune system, specifically the CD4 cells, also known as the helper T cells. These are the body's frontline defense against infections. Once inside, the virus inserts its genetic material into the CD4 cell's nucleus, effectively hijacking the cell to replicate itself. Over time, this viral army grows silently, often without causing immediate symptoms. Years can pass before the real damage begins. Gradually, HIV destroys the immune system, leaving the body vulnerable to opportunistic infections and diseases. This is the critical stage when HIV progresses to AIDS, or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Without treatment, AIDS severely diminishes the body's ability to fight even minor illnesses, often leading to fatal outcomes. But this is not a hopeless fight. Antiretroviral therapy, ART. These life-saving medications suppress the virus, preventing it from replicating further and allowing the immune system to rebuild. ART, when taken consistently and correctly, can prevent the progression from HIV to AIDS. ART is not just a treatment, it is a lifeline. Across the country, ART centers provide free medication, ensuring that cost is never a barrier to survival. However, the battle against HIV isn't just about the treatment, it's also about awareness and prevention. Early detection is critical. Regular testing, safe sexual practices, and caution with blood exposure are key to preventing HIV infection. The message is clear. HIV infection is not the end of life. With timely medication intervention and consistent treatment, people can live long and fulfilling lives. But it all begins with awareness, compassion, and taking the right steps towards prevention and care. This World AIDS Day, let's pledge to fight stigma, spread awareness, and ensure that everyone's right to health is protected. Because together, we can turn the tide against AIDS.
And addressing the national event for World AIDS Day 2024, India's Health Minister J.P. Nadda said that one should develop sensitivity and stand for the human rights of the people suffering from HIV.
AIDS के साथ जो लोग जी रहे हैं, people living with HIV, उनकी स्थिति को समझें, जानें, sensitivity develop करें और उसके साथ साथ उनके ह्यूमन राइट्स की रक्षा करें। ये आज के दिन हम सब लोगों को संदेश देना चाहिए और साल भर फॉर द होल लॉन्ग ईयर वी शुड डेडिकेट आवरसेल्व्स एंड रीइटरेट दैट वी आर देयर फॉर द ह्यूमन राइट्स ऑफ पीपल लिविंग विथ HIV.
Okay, let's take a look at some sports news now. First, Shah on Sunday officially took charge as the chairman of the International Cricket Council, becoming the 5th Indian to head the global body. The 36-year-old Shah, who was the Board of Control for Cricket in India, BCCI's secretary for the last 5 years, was the unanimous choice of ICC's Board of Directors. He replaced New Zealand's Greg Barclay as ICC's chair. Shah brings extensive experience in cricket administration, having started his journey in 2009 with the Gujarat Cricket Association. During his tenure, he oversaw the development of the world's largest cricket stadium in Ahmedabad. In 2019, Shah joined the Board of Control for Cricket in India, BCCI, becoming its youngest ever honorary secretary. Top-seeded PV Sindhu won the women's singles title of the Syed Modi International Super 300 badminton tournament. She defeated Wu Lu Yu of China 21-14, 21-16 in 47 minutes. Sindhu dominated both games and comfortably clinched the title. In the men's singles final match, India's Lakshay Sen will face Jason Tay. Earlier, Teresa Jolly and Gayatri Gopichand won the women's doubles titles of the Syed Modi badminton tournament. The women's doubles duo produced superb performance to beat China's Bao Li Qing and Li Qian 21-18, 21-11 in 41 minutes. Teresa and Gayatri ranked 16th in the world and are the only Indians set to compete in the prestigious event in China next month. In 2022 and 2023, Teresa and Gayatri reached the semi-finals of the All England Championships at the Super 1000 event and also made it to the semi-finals of the Singapore Open Super 750 this year. English football clubs Liverpool and Manchester City renew their rivalry in Sunday's crucial Premier League showdown at Anfield. Our slot team sits atop of the Premier League table with a sizable 8-point advantage. Reds also lead the Champions League standings and are the only side to have secured maximum points following their deserved victory over Carlo Ancelotti's holders Real Madrid. Of Liverpool's 19 competitive matches under Slot, they have won 17, scoring 44 goals and registering 10 clean sheets. Manchester City are now winless in their last 6, losing 5 and conceding 2 or more goals in 6 successive matches in all competitions for the first time since May 1963. City have not kept a clean sheet since 26th October and have shipped 17 goals since then, failing to score more than once away from home in their last 4. And England beat New Zealand by 8 wickets in their first test at Christchurch on Sunday. Bryden Carse's scintillating 10-wicket haul and debutant Jacob Bethel's brisk half-century helped England with a commanding 8-wicket victory. The fourth day began with New Zealand in dire straits at 155 runs for 6 wickets, holding a slim 4-run lead. Playing in just his third test, Bryden Carse took 6 for 42 runs for the match figures of 10 for 196 as New Zealand was bowled out for 252 in its second innings, leaving England needing only 104 runs to win. England's win was made possible by Harry Brook, whose innings of 171 in partnership of 151 with Ollie Pope and 159 with Ben Stokes propelled England to 499 in its first innings in reply to New Zealand's 348 runs. With this win, England take a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series. A 5-match deaf ODI cricket series will be played between India and Sri Lanka from December 2nd to December 8th. Both teams are actively engaged in their practice sessions. DD India correspondent Sharad Mudgul reports from the ground.
हमारी ट्रेनिंग बहुत ही अच्छी है और हमारा जो
Our training is going well. We have given some young players a chance to play and they are promising talents. Players who performed well in the recently concluded 24 state tournament in Bihar have been included in the team. Overall, our team is in good form and we are coming off a win against England. We will aim to carry this momentum forward and strive for a 5-0 series victory against Sri Lanka.
इस करेंगे कि श्रीलंका से भी 5-0 से ये टूर्नामेंट
We warmly welcome the Sri Lankan team to our country. Our team is very strong and all the players selected have performed exceptionally well at the national level. This is a 5-match series and we are confident and well prepared. Our coaching staff has provided excellent training and we are in great form. The Indian Deaf Cricket Association and its president have played a significant role in our journey. Coming off a victory against England, we are full of confidence and hope to win this series as well.
And the Hornbill Festival in Nagaland bursts to life with colors and culture, drawing the world to the Naga Heritage Village. Take a look at this 10-day spectacle as it unfolds, celebrating the vibrant spirit of the Naga heritage. And India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati has recently launched its OTT platform Waves. Waves provides a complete infotainment ecosystem to digital media and OTT audience. If you also want great content for free, then download Waves today. And that's all in this edition of DD India NewsHour. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Amritpal Singh from my entire team here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India NewsHour.